Morning, friends. Welcome back to that 1870s homestead. My name's Rachel, and I was busy just getting stuff going today, and I thought I haven't really done just a come with me in the kitchen video for a minute, and thought I'd just bring you guys, it's nothing special. We're grinding some flour. My daughter-in-law is stopping by, and she's picking up some fresh ground flour, some pickled cabbage, some eggs, and some oregano tincture. And I said, well, while I have the mill out, I'm going to grind some flour for myself, and we're going to make some flatbread. And I thought I'd just share with you, it's silly, just little life changes going on with me personally, and all good stuff. And yeah, so really fun. And just a Monday with Rachel. How about that? So this is really loud. I'm going to turn it on. 1 second. I forgot to hook it back up. Okay, it's still pretty darn loud. Okay, if you buy this brand, Palouse, I think is how you pronounce it, and you get these little bags, what have you done with them creatively? I feel terrible throwing them away. They're great. Like, this just peels off. It's plain on the back, but I think even the branding's cute, and I save them, and I don't have an idea of what to do with them. I don't really like burlap pillows. I know it would be a cute little throw pillow, but I did make my grandson at the cabin. He came with us, and I just punched holes in the back and made him a little backpack for collecting like nature things. But that's the only thing I've ever done with it. So if you have ideas, let me know. And I have the Wonder Mill. It's not the pretty mill that you see a lot of influencers out there on TikTok and stuff that have the pretty wooden ones that sit out on their counter. This one is a workhorse though, and it does great. So I am going to top off her jar, and then we're going to get to making our flatbreads. It's hunting season here, and if you're not following us on Facebook, we didn't do a video on it, but we got our first deer on the farm. That was so exciting. We've been hunting. We have hunted this property for 3-4 years, and this is the first year that we got a deer. And we got big old doe, and last night we had our first meal, just venison burgers. And I maybe had venison a couple times in my life, and it was usually probably like the loin pieces, and I remember thinking it was fine, but this, I loved it. To me, it is very much like a grass-fed beef taste, not gamey at all. Definitely didn't taste like beef hamburger, a better cut of beef is what it tasted like to me. And like I was telling Todd, if you cooked up a skillet of ground beef burger, I would not enjoy eating that. It's not a flavor that I like. It has to be enhanced in some way. But if I cooked up a skillet of ground venison, I think I would eat it just like that. It was delicious. So half gallon of freshly ground grains for her. And she's fancy. She does all the sourdough and all that stuff. I don't do that. I'm going to just make a yogurt flatbread. So simple. So doing all kinds of things, cleaning out like jars that I've used in my little pantry, whether it was tinctures or face wash and stuff like that. Getting things restocked for the winter. Let's grab a bowl. And I'm sure that there's a recipe I could reference for you guys, but I kind of just do it based off of feel. So I went in with a cup of flour. I grabbed the Greek yogurt. And you could add some herbs to this, would be lovely. I just have some hummus in the fridge that we need. Todd really likes to eat flatbread with his hummus. And we're all out of flatbreads. So I'm just gonna keep adding and mixing until I think it's the right consistency. Let me bring you guys down. Okay, so that was probably, I don't know, a heaping quarter cup. That's probably good. Kind of just till it starts to pull together in a ball. And it's gonna be a wet dough. So I think I'm just gonna let this rest for like 10 minutes. Let the flour absorb all the Greek yogurt. Oh. Well, while that is resting, I'm gonna jar up the rest of my flour. I'll share with you one or some of the things going on. So, who's been here long enough to remember when I didn't have a dining room table over there for like a year? It was at the time, it was early on with our family growing, maybe with maybe first grandkids, I decided to do it. I don't remember why, or might have just been everyone getting married. And I'm like, my house is too small. My living room is quite small. It can fit, you know, we have like standardly the 4 kids, their spouses, Todd and I. So 10 people in there, and everyone has a seat. But now adding all the babies, because we have 5 grandkids, the kids are like, Mom, Christmas. And when they're all over here for Christmas Eve, I love it. It's a little chaos. It's, you know, babies crawling over babies. They have a little playroom under the stairs. The 2 older ones now sometimes can go upstairs or outside by themselves in the backyard and play. But when you start adding like present opening, things like that, I love my dining room table. And I got a dining room table back, and everything I own just about in this house is secondhand. I don't buy anything new. Now, I have one caveat with that. I bought a sectional couch last year, really cheap. I don't know why I'm justifying this, but I hate spending money. I guess that's the point. A sectional couch new because I needed a specific dimension that would fit in there. And I had looked high and low on Facebook Marketplace and couldn't find anything. So I ended up buying that. But all my furniture otherwise in this house is secondhand. And I've been that way even for a long, long time. I don't know why I am that way, but I am. I don't like buying new. So what was I saying? Oh, okay. So there for a year or more, I didn't have a dining room. It was a coffee table, a gathering space for more, you know, kids would hang out in here. When they came over, people that wanted to watch TV would gather in the living room. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that again. And it's been a big debate because originally I was thinking, do I need to pull out this kitchen island and put my table here? And it's about the same size, and I could shift it. And I was like, oh, it might actually make the living room bigger, but it's just not a good work surface like this is. And we work this island to death, you know, during processing and harvesting and everything. So I think the compromise to make this a functional house for an ever-growing family is we're taking the dining room table out again. I'm really sad about it, but we'll make that a gathering room again. And we'll just get a couple like rolling carts of TV trays that we'll bring out when it's dinner time. It's not as special and as formal for like sit down around the table together. So I'm kind of bummed about it, but I don't know. I'm not an interior designer, so if any of you have like other ideas of what I could do, let me know. But So that's going to change soon. I'm just mentioning it because in future videos, you're going to see like that room looks completely different. Okay. So here's my jar because we don't eat that much bread, and here's her jar. And she said she's been using straight flour replacement. This is her first time. Like this will be, I let her just take the mill and take some grains to her house and use it for a while and make sure she really likes it before, you know, making an investment to buy her own grains or her own mill someday. And I told her, you can just keep coming over here using my mill. If you want to buy your grains, come over here and mill it. But she said she was successful at doing 100% replacement in things like cookies, muffins, pancakes. And for her sourdough, like loaves where she would have used all-purpose, she was doing about half and half. And everyone in her family loved it. So if it's something that you're thinking about for a Christmas wish list, I'll leave the link to the one that I use in the description. You saw it. It works great. And now this comes with all the great bran. There's another word I'm looking for and I can't find it. But all the good stuff in the flour that makes it a little bit more textured. If you didn't want the bran in your product, say you're doing something like a croissant, which you wouldn't use the same wheat that I just used, you know, something that's more delicate in nature, you would just sift out the bran. So that was life update number 1. So there's 5 grandkids. All the babies are crawling, climbing, near walking. One's partially walking. And then we have our 4- and 3-year-old. Okay, I think we should be able to be ready to start rolling these out. I did just look at the recipe. I was supposed to add baking soda. Oh well. It'll be extra flat. And you could add salt to it, but I have salted butter, so I'm not adding salt to it. Most recipes will say to what will they say? Oh, to use oil. I use butter to, you know, season or oil my skillet. Okay, so we're just gonna make these into little balls. And then you just roll them out as paper thin as you can get them. It takes patience to get a good flatbread thin enough, you know, for people that aren't used to making it. Because you think, surely I can't get it any thinner than this, but you can. Once I get all these balled up, then we'll turn around and start heating up our skillet over like medium heat. And I just use, I actually need to wash my skillet, flat cast iron. It just makes it easier for me to get that spatula in underneath it. I have a whole video on washing cast iron, but if you don't want to go look for that, high heat. Chainmail, that's all I use. Never salt, never soap. I don't do anything. When we only cook off of our cast iron, and hopefully that's showing up how seasoned it is. And then I'll come over to the stove and I'll turn on the heat. Let the heat dry it, and then I do 1 drop of flaxseed oil and rub that in. And that's it. Every single time. I will tell you, Todd sometimes doesn't, when he's using it, he won't re-oil it every single time. I do, and I think that it helps. So I'm gonna get back here and start rolling this. When that dries, I'm just gonna drop some butter on it. I have that way too high. Takes about a minute on each side. And while that one's cooking on that side, I'll get the next one rolled out, started anyway. Okay, there you go. Nice and rolly. And then next one's ready to go on. Let's throw some more butter on there. If you're doing a whole bunch, you may need to wipe down your skillet again. No one tore. They're all rolled out. Got 2 more to cook. And I guess that is self-explanatory too, that we haven't been eating bread for well over a year really. And it's made a world of difference, especially for Todd, well, with Todd and I, on the way that we felt, just our energy, kind of digestive type issues. And both realizing that there is some level of balance that we need to have. Well, Todd really started reintroducing gluten, not to an extreme, but you know, he'll have a sandwich every now and then, or pizza, things like that. And sometimes I join him because who can say no to bread? Bread is so delicious. I know that I struggle with it still. So choosing to do something like, and I struggle with it from I think truly I'm gluten intolerant. You know, after taking it out of my diet, reintroducing to my diet, you know, the belchy and the bloaty and just all that. I don't have that. And the kind of like the lack of energy, I think it just zaps my body and is using too much of something in my body to digest it, that it leaves me with little energy. So the great thing about whole grains is, you know, it's better for people that are gluten-free, someone like me, or gluten intolerant, someone like me. Much, much better for you. So if I can supplement, I will. Now I'm not going crazy, and I'm not, when I say crazy, I totally respect anyone that does this. I just still like my all-purpose flour for things like my sugar cookies and things like that, when I have to make those for special occasions. So some of these will be, like I said, for the hummus that's waiting to be consumed. And we have leftover beef short ribs from dinner this weekend, and I think that these will be great taco shells for that. Or we have one leftover venison hamburger that could be chopped up, and you could have like a hamburger style taco. So it doesn't take much time, is my point. Altogether, that's 10 minutes of resting time on your dough, and then maybe 10 minutes to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tortillas I got. Well, flatbreads. Now, optimally, you would be grinding your flour as you need it for a recipe, because that's where you're going to get the most nutrients from the flour. The longer you let the flour sit, it starts to lose some of its goodness. I'll try to use this jar up within the week. One of the things on my list of things to do today is something sweet, a sweet treat for the week. Okay, we're gonna try this. If I can carry you guys in. Nope, no way. Let me take you guys down there and then I'll be down. And it's put my stuff away and get dinner for the week. Okay. Alrighty. So my routine for dinners is I usually grab 3 proteins, 3 meats out of the freezer. And I'm excited because this week we have 2 new things on the menu that we haven't had in the freezer either ever or for a while. One is the venison, and the other is we just harvested all of our turkeys, and we processed them a little bit differently this year. So with the turkeys, we did a lot of it ground, but we also cut up a lot of the breast into like medallion slices. So I know I want that to be a meal. And we just vacuum sealed it. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with it yet. We'll get to that. And then we'll get out a package of the back strap, which they butterflied for us. So they left the tenderloins whole, and then they butterflied the back strap. And maybe we'll have French onion soup with that. And what did I say? Oh, tilapia. Tilapia was the other thing I wanted. I think that's in the other freezer. So 3 proteins: tilapia, the back strap, and the turkey breast medallions. And that's pretty well rounded. A poultry, a fish, a red meat, and then soup. So I'm gonna head upstairs and I'm gonna tell you something new I'm doing for meal planning. That's kind of fun. So here's the thing, we're gonna have a little AI conversation. And I know that there's people on way both ends of the spectrums. Full adopters embrace it every single day for everything that they're doing, you know, fine with it, replacing jobs, things like that. Other people see the job avenue aspect of it, and I feel for anyone that might be watching this that has recently been laid off because of, you know, new and improved technology capabilities. And I really pray that you're able to find a new job or, you know, get the new opportunities coming your way. Or there are people that think it's the beast and it's just going to destroy humanity. There may be some truth to that. I'm not going to deny that. But here's the thing is we can fight it all day long. It's not going away. And I'm somebody like that. I don't necessarily think things are always evil. I mean, you could think about how, you know, through our generations and generations, especially from the Industrial Revolution to today, all the things that have come our way that people have fought against, whether it was telephone lines going up, whether it was, you know, the first computers in homes, the first car phones, and then cell phones, and then smartphones, and email, for heaven's sakes. Like, I mean, this is just the next thing. And it's going to be here. It's not going away. And I'm not suggesting it replaces our brains, per se, but it is a tool. It's a really handy tool if used appropriately, not used to lie to people and scam people, but just to be a tool. Like Google is a tool where you can go and type something in and research it. That's how I'm thinking about it. So here's my example of how I've just recently started playing with it. And I use both the Gemini service and the ChatGPT service. And and if this bores you, you can skip past this part. But with dinner plans, you can get stuck in a rut. You can get stuck in a rut eating the same thing, what you're comfortable cooking, all those kinds of things. And instead of searching through the entire interweb for another recipe or looking through all your cookbooks, unless you enjoy that, then go right ahead. But I don't find enjoyment in that. I want somebody to just tell me what to make and give me a new idea. So I used ChatGPT for this, and it was so fun. Don't come at me, because you can have your own opinions. This is my opinion, okay? Let's find it. Where did it go? Okay. I'll tell you what I said and then what it said back. Not in detail, but so I told it I would help me. This is what I said. Help me plan meals for the week. Start by asking me what ingredients I already have and what kinds of meals I enjoy. Perfect. And then he writes back, she, whatever, the robot. And I said, okay, here's what I have. I have ham steaks, pork chops, ground turkey, ground beef. I want 3 dinners. I don't want to spend more than 30 minutes preparing. We prefer low to no carbs. And I have most of the pantry staples, but very limited fresh vegetables. My vegetables are primarily frozen or canned. They say, perfect. Here's what you can do. So I only made one of the recipes because I already knew what I was doing with the other things. But for the pork chops, I would have never thought of this. I made a garlic butter pork chop with green beans and mushrooms. And they give you the full recipe and instructions. And it was absolutely delicious. It was like I would have never made that had somebody not given me that idea. Other ideas it gave for the ground turkey was to do peppers and zucchini, but we made taco bowls. And the ham steak with just some cheesy broccoli and cauliflower. So I'm going to ask it today. I'm going to say, same rules, new week. And I'll bring you guys down. Same rules, new week, because you can go and see your past conversation and they'll remember. I have venison, and I think we already know what we want to do with this. I just want to see what it says. Venison, was it backstrap? And we have turkey breast medallions and tilapia. What should I make? Nice list of proteins you have there. Here's 3 quick ideas. And do you see how fast that came up? So we can do some pan-seared venison backstrap with garlic butter Brussels, which I do have Brussels sprouts, or green beans. For the turkey breast medallions, we could do a stir fry with mixed veggies. I don't think Todd's gonna like the stir fry idea with that. I really think he wants to do a marsala where he like tenderizes them and like pan fries them with some wine. And then baked or pan fried tilapia with lemon butter and steamed broccoli. I'll definitely do that. Nice. So fun. So that's one way I've used it. The other one I will tell you about is I have kind of limited routine when it comes to the house, like maintaining the house. For the most part, I just tackle things when they appear to need to be tackled. Like every day is just about the kitchen gets wiped down, dishes are done. I sweep and mop when it needs sweeping and mopping. I'm not like the world's cleanest when it comes to sweeping and mopping, like meaning it's not done every day. It's, you know, probably once a week, maybe twice a week. Vacuuming is usually a once a week job, and I usually save that for the weekend. Bathrooms, again, when it needs to be done. Visually, I see, okay, we need to clean the bathroom. And I know, like, I just knew I was being inefficient. I wasn't being the best housekeeper. So I also didn't like that when I did need to clean, I felt like I was working myself to the bone to keep up with the house. And I knew from that feeling, I wasn't using my time wisely. So, like something like, for me, windows, baseboards, that kind of stuff. I've never been a windows or baseboards girl. Like, I do the windows probably twice a year and the baseboards once every 3 years. Like, it's just, and I know that that's going to freak some of you guys out because you do it all the time, but I'm like, who's looking at people's baseboards? Anyway, so I wrote to, and I used Gemini for this. I said, listen, I'm recently retired. I don't feel like I have a good routine around the house. I definitely want to keep my house super tidy and nice, but I also don't want to work all day doing it. Can you give me a weekly schedule? Here's my house layout. I told him how many bathrooms, bedrooms. I said, some of the things that I really want to focus on doing better is like windows, cleaning all the wood in the house. Like, I have a lot of wood when you talk about cleaning all the molding, all the doors, all that stuff. And he was so nice. It was so nice. And it gave me a schedule of basically when I wake up. And I said, one of the things is I want my morning time to read my Bible, make my husband breakfast. Like, those things are important to me. Don't take away from that. So there is just, my point is there is fun, easy entry, accept the fact that AI is not going anywhere, and how can it help you in your home, is my point. And if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. But the more you resist it and only see the evil in it, you're missing the benefit that there is, I think. Again, Rachel's opinion. So I didn't necessarily 100% adopt the schedule, though, that it's given me yet. It's given me more of a frame of reference on how to structure my brain. So today, one of the things that I'm doing is pulling back up that conversation and saying, okay, but how do I want to adopt this? And like Mondays, I want that to be my kitchen reset from the weekend, wipe everything down, clean out like the fridge, things like that. Mop all the high trafficked areas because there's a lot of coming and going over the weekend. And do the baking and get out all the meals that I want to prep here early in the week. That's my Monday. And then I have laundry going too, which is usually a Tuesday, Thursday thing. We're just off schedule with our laundry right now. If you're interested in that, I'm trying to think about how to share that better, but I need to work it out in my brain too, that might be some fun things I can share with you guys on the internet here on the channel is, what does my daily routine look like? And so far, though, doing it, it's been fun. And I've only been doing it for like a week and a half, something like that. But I definitely feel more productive. And I feel like on the days where maybe there's something else I could be doing, I already know it's on the schedule for tomorrow. So it takes the pressure off my mind to like keep pushing myself all day long to, go make that bed or change out the sheets in the guest bedroom. Like, no one's going to be staying there till in another week. I can do it tomorrow. So just little things like that. So that's it. It's just a very simple catch up with me, what's going on type of video. And we got some flatbread made. We got some flour ground for the week, and just little tiny homestead updates. And I like to hear your comments. So I'll see you guys on the next video. And based on your comments, it'll probably tell me where I'm going with what we're gonna keep doing here. So Oh, I do have one thing to show you. I do put on some restraint when it comes to decorating, but starting November, really in October, Christmas shopping, Christmas planning, and I made every year. I used to buy the kids Christmas ornaments every year. Well, now that they're married, I started making their Christmas ornaments. I think I shared last year's with you guys. I don't remember if I did or not. But this year's, they're not done. I'll just show this one. It's a little house with a heart. And it's the first time I ever did the baking soda mock porcelain clay, the air dried clay. So I did a little heart and then some initials in the year 2025. But I have some gold paint out, my decoupage, Mod Podge, some little Christmas trees and trinkets that we can put on there, some lace for the ties, my paint brushes. So that was the other cute thing about what the little AI guy said to me. He was like, you know what? The rest of the day is for you, your leisure time. You know, have lunch with a girlfriend, do a hobby, things like that. So this will be my hobby moment later this afternoon after I get this kitchen taken care of and get the whatever sweet treat I'm gonna make made. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye guys.